Welcome again to the PM Talk Show. This is Pat Marsh, your host. We're out here on beautiful Miller Lake, and it's a beautiful day today for us to be talking about children and what we'd like to see accomplished with the children, educationally speaking. And we have with us today our guest, Mr. Eddie Pons, who is a retired school teacher. He's also the owner of the Drum newspaper, and he's a TV talk show host for Channel 22 here in Hammond. Welcome to our show today.
Thank you, Ms. Pat. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to be here, and we're proud of the work that you're doing for your newspaper. And how far do you spread in the area with the Drum newspaper?
We go all over Tangipahoa Parish and all over Baton Rouge, East Baton Rouge Parish,
Okay.
and into West Baton Rouge Parish, and then we have some that is mailed out across the state.
Okay, so you have a busy schedule going, doing what you do. Lately, you and I have been talking, and you're also our third vice president with the NAACP. I guess I could say that now. But we're very proud to have you as an officer of the organization. And one of the things that we've been talking about is how can we get kids engaged in the media or doing things that would help them, those kids who like to write and what have you. So can you share some of that with us?
Yes. What we have did in the past, I had one intern in Ponchatoula. I only had one, and he was from Southeastern.
Okay.
And he was a graphic art designer, and he spent one semester with me. In the Baton Rouge area, we have them all the time over there. They're students, they come from the various colleges over there. And then some freelance writers want to come in. And but in this parish here, if anyone that's in high school or junior high or any student that aspires to become a writer or a reporter or sports writer or photographer, well, they can start that now while they're in high school. Right. And I don't have a problem with it working with them along those lines. And plus, I can get my people in Baton Rouge to work with them also.
Okay.
And that's one way if they're interested in becoming a journalist or even a writer.
Right.
And we can point them in the right direction.
Right.
And then they can get some experience along the way in while they're in high school, junior high, whatever grade they may be.
Right.
And we can work with them along those lines.
Well, when you look at what's involved in it, can you let students who may view this know what's involved with journalism and writing and whatever it is that it entails?
Yeah. Now, when you come to journalism, you're writing most of the time. You're either going to be writing for a newspaper or a magazine, and we know those are on the way out. Is the way that it's seen. But anyway, there's still a need for it, and some of them might want to write for radio, maybe television. And if you just want to be a writer, then you're writing about something that you're interested in, that you like, or it may be fiction, or short stories, or it might be history. See, I'm a history buff. I've been doing a lot of research on African American history. And I must say that you have participated in my whole history project. Right. And that is going on good. But that's how students can get involved with it, and that's what journalism is about. In journalism, you're also going out and you're interviewing people, and then you're writing about that interview.
Well, I had an opportunity to meet a young man from Kentwood, Trayvon Cooper, and he is so amazing at the type of work that he's doing, the skills that he's developing, and I think he's just a junior in high school right now. Although he's being homeschooled right now, the potential of what he is going to become is really astounding. when you look at your students that you work with, say from Ponchatoula, from Baton Rouge, can you give us an idea on where they are now and whether or not they're still doing this with you?
Yes, one young man, he's in New York now, and he's doing extremely well. He's with advertising, and he's writing for a major paper up there.
Okay.
And then we had some that's in Baton Rouge, they went on to grad school.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of them went to work for some of the local papers over there. And the ones that was interested in television and radio, they went to some of the local radio stations and some of the TV stations.
Okay, so the field is wide open just from the ones that you have been instrumental in helping.
Yeah, the field is wide open.
Okay.
Yes. And then some of them have been expressing interest in writing a book.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
it's a wide open field.
Well, have you ever thought about maybe going before the board or however they're gonna say do it now to see if this is something that maybe the school system may be interested in? Because reading is fundamental. I mean, if you can't read, you can't function.
Yeah, that's true. That's
And
true.
you have to do what you need to do to get what you need to get done. Have you ever thought about doing that?
No, I never thought about going before the board and asking them to do anything on local level with the students. But what I have did for the past 3 years, I think it was 3 years, I was covering the Pinky Garden Poetry Contest in Baton Rouge.
Okay.
Pinky Garden was a professor of English at Southern University, and she was the poet laureate of Louisiana, and she also published poems. And when she passed, then they started this poetry contest with the high school students over there, and I was covering that every year. And then my mind came back to Ponchatoula, well, to Tangipahoa Parish, and I said that would be a good thing to start if I can get it going. And I wanted to do it last year, but last year I was ill and I was in the hospital, so I couldn't do it. But this year I was able to do it. I got to give Miss Teresa her credit. She put it out for me, and I got some.
You mean Hamilton?
Miss Teresa Hamilton. She put it out to the various schools, and we're getting some great response from them.
Okay.
And I received some poems, and I think we're going to have some good poems, and I'm sure from there we. Tell them what we might come up with. We might discover some kids that love to write or want to write.
Okay, well, what kind of poems are you looking at now with the kids that you have now?
Well, we give them an option to write any type of poem they want, but we have some restrictions on it, no rap, no vulgar, we stay within the school guidelines. And then they can write about things that is dear to them. And whatever they know about and they want to write about it, they can write about it. Okay. And it didn't have to be rhyme, where every other line rhyme or every other word rhyme. It didn't have to be any of that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Did every line had to rhyme?
No, every line doesn't have to rhyme.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How do the parents feel about their children going off into that realm?
From this little project that I've just started out, I've been getting good response from parents. Parents have been approaching me about information about it, and because they want their kids to participate in it, and so I've been giving them the information, and they're all thrilled about it. And so, matter of fact, they're going to see if they can encourage their kids to participate in it.
Okay. Well, I remember a little bitty girl years ago. We would have poetry contests, and it kind of went away on the by the wayside. And I think once you get back into what it is you're doing to encourage kids, do you think that it may encourage other kids to come and do what these kids are beginning to do?
I think so. Once we get our winners, the winner's going to appear on my TV show. And they're going to receive a plaque.
Okay.
And I'm going to see how many participants that we have all together. And I'm thinking about doing, well, I will be doing something for them also to keep them encouraged.
Okay. When will this event take place?
Well, the deadline for this is March the 21st.
Okay.
And then we're going to collect all the poems, and I'm going to give them to the judges, and they are going to pick the top first, second, third, and fourth place winner. And then we'll notify them, and then whenever time their parents can be available to get them to the taping site, then we'll be, then we'll tape it.
Okay. The judges, what caliber of judges are you looking for? Will you have?
These types can be some English teachers, some educators, and English teachers,
Okay.
and journalists.
Okay.
I think it's going to be the judges.
Okay. Okay.
And, some of the judges that I'm going to have, I haven't picked any of them, but one I've already picked, but they don't know anything about it.
Okay.
I'm looking at her.
Oh, Lordy. You must have known English was my favorite subject.
Oh, yeah. But you know the strange thing about it? I'm a journalist now. You know, English was hard for me in high school and my first 3 years of college. And I had English teacher. She was a graduate assistant, and she taught English different. We met in the classroom for the first class meeting. And after that, we was on the patio. We was under the oak tree on the campus. It just was taught all around campus. And I learned so much English that year, and it seemed like everything else they've been teaching me all those other years looked like it just came together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll do that. We'll do that. Well, we're going to go for a break, and when we come back, we're going to get back into the importance of English and what you're doing now with the kids. We're going for a break, and we'll be right back.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Welcome back to the PM Talk Show. This is Pat Marsh, your host, and we have with us Mr. Eddie Pons, who is the owner of the Drum newspaper in Tangipahoa Parish and in the Baton Rouge area. He's also a talk show host for Channel 22 here in Hammond, and we wanted to bring him on because he has an adventure that's going on that involves kids, and that's poetry writing and whatever else they like to write. No rap, none of that stuff, but just writing whatever you feel. And before the break, we were talking about his vision and what happened when you were an English student at Southern University, right?
That's right.
Okay, all right. How well you said earlier how well it impacted you, but based on what you had to go through, what would you encourage the kids to do now who may have a problem with English?
Well, what I would encourage them to do is to read. Is to just read everything they can get their hand on. Just go to the library and check out books and read magazines, newspapers, and especially the editorial in the newspaper. That's a good source for them to learn how to write and to read and to understand English.
And you're right about that, because as we said earlier, reading is fundamental, and if you learn to read and read properly, it'll help you enhance your ability to read. But what about that student who has had a problem with reading all of their school life? What would you encourage them to do?
I would encourage them to get with a friend or a relative that can read, and then they just sit down together and read, or even with an adult that he's comfortable with and willing to work with him just for a little while a day. It don't have to be long, It can be 30 minutes a day, 10, 15 minutes a day, and he do that on a constant basis, on a regular basis, and his reading skills will improve.
Right. A lot of times I hear of kids who really have problems reading, and rather than come out and say, it's rare that you would hear a child say, please help me to read. It's just rare. And do you think they feel it's the embarrassment of it, or they don't know, or what do you think?
I think it's embarrassing because it's embarrassing to them maybe because of their age, or maybe because their peers can read and they don't want their peers to know that they are unable to read. But if he would come out and tell his peers or his parents that he can't read, I want to learn how to read, and then maybe his parents, if he's willing to or able to, he might get someone to tutor him, or he can get with some of his friends or relatives, and they can sit down and they can read for a few minutes a day.
Another thing is learning how to break up the syllables in words. I think that would help a lot too. Knowing what the sounds are, that would help a lot too.
I have a 7-year-old grandson. He's in the 1st grade, and when he was learning how to read, he can read pretty good now. And I used to hear him breaking up those words. We would have him reading to us, and he'd be going along good, and he'd get to a word he can't pronounce it, then he'd start to sounding it out, and then he get it. And I think that if they go through that, they can learn how to read. And if they like to write or want to write, that would teach them how to read also.
Right, very much so. I had an opportunity to go into a school in Parrish, and when I got out of my car, I saw this little girl, and just looking at her demeanor and listening to her verbalize a lot of things that she was saying, I could tell, and I'm thinking in my mind, this is a lawyer if I ever saw one. It really is. But when we got into school and we were doing what we had to do before we got to doing that, I noticed that she was reading a lot of the flyers and things that were on the wall, and she was pronouncing, they were long words, you know, and she was pronouncing and she was saying, I said, oh wow, you gotta be a lawyer. She said, no ma'am. I said, well, what do you aspire to be? I'm thinking, well, she doesn't know, you know, she's about 3rd grade. She said, I aspire to be a teacher.
That's
good.
good.
Okay. I said, why do you want to teach? She said, because I want to make a difference in the lives of kids. I want to be able to help them get to where I am one day. And I'm looking at this child was pausing, I'm thinking, wow. You know, I'm thinking because you articulate so well that you're going to be a lawyer and you got a big mouth and you're going to argue cases. And she said, no ma'am. She said, I'm going to come. And she pointed out the school. She said, I'm coming right to this school and I'm going to make a difference for my students. And I had to commend her, and the administrator was there, had to commend her for what she was doing. So I said that to say that you never know what a child is going to aspire to come, but it starts with reading.
All of it starts with reading. And when a child expressing their desire to become whatever they want, encourage them to do it.
Right.
Although it may change along the way, but don't discourage them.
No.
Because I know, especially boys, they'll be running around the house, they'll be making all this funny noise, and don't discourage them, stop all that old nonsense. Let them go. They might could use that voice to make a living.
Exactly.
How they're training our boys with those different sounds that they make a living doing that.
Yeah, well, I want to commend you on what you're doing. You say your date's going to be on the 21st?
On the 21st, that's when they're due.
Of March, right?
21st of March, that's the last day for the contest. And then we're going to get all the points should be in by then, and then we're going to get them to the various judges and let them
Okay. How can they contact you to give you their poems before the 21st?
Or they can either mail them in to the Drum, 17253 Levine Road, that's Lapigene, in Ponchatoula, 70454. Or they can call me at 985-351-0813. And then we can make arrangements so they can get the poems in. If they don't want to mail them in, if they're anxious to get them in, just call that number.
Okay, do you think you're gonna have some tiebreakers?
I hope I'm gonna have some tiebreakers. And I don't know, I just have a good feeling about it that the kids are just gonna do so extremely well. And I'm just wondering how my judge is gonna make out in trying to determine which is which. And that is always good. And but I'm looking forward to it. And I have some other things in mind, and Pat, you and I have talked about some things that we want to do in the community together. And we're just about ready to move forward with it too. Everything is working out okay.
Well, the bottom line is, Mr. Pond, it's all about the kids. I've said that from the very beginning. It is all about our kids and how we're going to instill in them what they need to do, what they need to know to excel in life, because one day they're going to replace us.
Oh yes, they are.
And we hope that they will replace us a lot more positively than a lot of us baby boomers replaced us.
Yeah. And another thing too, Ms. Pat, is that maybe out of his poems or these writings what these kids are going to do, you know, we have to record our history.
Right.
And maybe we might get some writers out of this that's going to continue to record our history.
Right. We certainly hope so, and it'll be in a positive way. But we want to thank you for coming, and thank you for the job that you're doing with your newspaper, with your talk show, and we're very proud of the accomplishments that you're making, and especially for what God has instilled in you to do to help our kids, to make them a more positive individual, more positive things, and wanting to know that we will do what we need to do to become those productive citizens.
Well, you know, I taught school for about 30 years, and I'm all about academics, and I'm all about our kids achieving.
Right.
And I'm going to do whatever I can.
And we know you will. Well, this is Pat Morris saying thank you for continuing to join us on the PM Talk Show. We want you to know, as you just heard, knowledge is powerful. Knowledge does matter. Thank you for continuing to join us. Have a great week, and God bless.